Welcome guys. So in our series of PostgreSQL, this is our second video and we are talking about uh, basic things about PostgreSQL. What is how we are using it widely, how it is used widely in all the applications, and what is the page size of PostgreSQL. This is the physical basic unit of storing the data, the page. In this video, we are talking about the Postmaster process. What is this and how it helps in PostgreSQL? So PostgreSQL uses process per user model. This is very much important about Postgres. This is process per user model. Each user is given a particular process which stays there till the life of the connection. Like if there are 100 users which are accessing the Postgres, so there will be 100 processes. Okay, each have one process for one user, so there are 100 processes for 100 users. So this is process per user model. Everything a user do with the database, that is through that particular process. So PostgreSQL has a set of processes and memory structure which constitutes an instance. So a database we can usually call that is an instance, which is consist of the process and memory structure for a particular database. We can have more than one instance of PostgreSQL database on a single set server. We'll see in our next videos how to how we can have more than one instance of PostgreSQL on a single server, how we can have 2 or 3 instances of PostgreSQL on a particular server. So I'll be seeing that in next videos. So first process when we start Postgres on our system, the first process that is start is Postmaster. Postmaster process is the first process which gets installed, and then it invokes other processes. When a user sends a request for connection, then Postmaster checks for user credentials and IP address if they are valid in the configuration file. We can have a HBA file, HBA config file, in which we can define the configuration for different users. We can restrict them in that file. We'll be discussing that file in our next videos maybe. So that's the thing which Postmaster is validating in the everywhere, like configuration file. So Postmaster, if a request, if user sends a request, it validates if the user is reliable and it is has the authority to access the database. On success of this, if the user has the authority, or if the validation process is successful, on the successful completion of the validation process, Postmaster hands over the connection to the Postgres process, which connects to the shared buffer. We'll see it here. Okay, so the client is here. It the first thing, the client sends a request to access the Postgres database using the Postmaster process. So client sends the request in Postmaster process. It validates everything with the Postgres, like if the user has the proper credentials, it is coming from a particular IP. If that validates it, so then Postmaster hands over the process client process to Postgres process, and then they can communicate directly. This is the process which is running after this, and then they can do anything, and till the client process is running, this process thread will be there. When the client stops the process and disconnects, then this process will be gone, and so that everything goes like this. If there are 2 users, 3 users, they can have 3 processes for them. Okay, so Postmaster acts as a supervisor process whose job is to monitor, start and restart some of the processes if they die. So Postmaster watches everything, like if the process is currently running or not, if there are other processes, if there are many processes for running PostgreSQL. If any of the process dies, Postmaster restarts it. So that's why we called it as supervisor process. And it watches everything, like all the processes which are running right now, it processes all of them. Postmaster acts as a listener and receive new connections requests from the client. So when a client wants a connection, it uh, gets in touch with the postmaster. Postmaster accepts its request based on the and then it validates everything based on the configuration files, uh, IP address and everything, and then it hands over the process to the Postgres process. So every new connection needs to go through the postmaster process. So that's why we call it that listener process. So postmaster is responsible for authorization and authentication of all the incoming process. Yes, so it verifies everything in the uh, configuration files. So it is responsible for every new process that is authenticated, or if that has the authorization to access the database. So if it verifies everything, after the verification it hands over everything to database. So that's all about the post master process. In our next video we'll be talking about types of shutdown. Okay, so thanks.